Hello friends, and once again welcome to bisbsolutions.com. My name is Amit, and we are continuing talking about learning Groovy script with Oracle planning. So in today's example, I'm going to show you one limitation with Groovy script. So in the previous example, I taught you a couple of cases where one can export data using Groovy script. Even you can apply filters when you're exporting data. In the same series, today I'm continuing talking about how to run the Groovy script from my data form, and I'll get an error message. And then I show you how to resolve that. This is a kind of limitation with Groovy script. Okay. Let me start with my requirement problem statement. Okay. So I have a data form over here. What my business user wanted. So they wanted to this one data form. My business user requested they should be able to export this data right from here. Okay. Using Groovy script. The reason we use Groovy because for a performance point of view, it is relatively faster. I right click over here. I have associate one action menu, and this action menu in turn associate with one business rule. When I hit this button data export, I'll get an error message. You see this error message. Data export operation is supported only for batch mode, right? What is this batch mode? Let me show you this error message first. So when I hit this action menu, a business rule invoked, and this is my business rule. Under job, I can show you this job. Groovy data export failed with the reason behind this job can only perform in batch mode. It means you cannot run the data export in an interactive manner. Okay, let me show you the code now and what is an expected output. So when I hit this action menu, this business rule is going to be executed. Okay, I'll explain you this business rule in greater detail in few minutes. First, let me run this rule directly from here, and you don't get any error message. The error message which we got few minutes before data export. Okay, I'm going to rerun this, and let's check do we get an error message or not. So rule ran, and data export action would have taken place. The same data I can see under application overview, inbox and outbox explorer. And we sort by timestamp. This is my data, right? We exported. Let me open this and show you the output. Let me download this into my local file system and show you the output. Okay. So what I wanted when I hit this action menu, I want to invoke this business rule, which in turn export this data. Okay. Now let's look at the output and the code both together. Okay. What I'm trying to do I'm trying to export this data. It's a label zero data, right? And I apply filter over here, base data, FY21 plan and working weight. And this is a filter. One thing additionally happening over here, I want to export data in YTD format. It means data is going to be extracted and then aggregate month over month. It's like a running sum for the given year. Okay. How does it happen? So I run this code twice. One I run through YTD export and one I run through without YTD export, and I've taken a screenshot of it. The same I showed to you. Okay. So you see the difference when I run without YTD. I'm getting month over month data. This is January, February, March, April. Whereas when I enable YTD export, data is getting aggregated. January, January plus February, January plus February plus March, April, and so on. Okay. And the same you can check over here. This is plan 410 P21. This is the data. 410 P20. This is my row. Let us focus on this. So I'm going to highlight this row. This is my YTD data. So data is getting aggregated month over month. Okay. Let's rerun this example without YTD export. And for the sake of testing, I'm keeping only one row. Okay, so that we can quickly compare. I'm going to hide rest of the rows. This is my YTD output. Okay, let me rerun this code. And this time I'm going to remove this YTD expression. This is code snip. Closure, it's basically a way to group your instruction in one block. So I created one block of code, which is uh, rendering my numbers into YDD format. I remove it. So export data to file had two argument, file name, and in turn you can use a code subset of the code. I removed it from here and I would rerun it now. And now you can compare the output, right? I deploy it, validate, redeploy, and I'm going to run it again. Perfect. Let me rerun it. When I run it, again data export take place, and I would have a latest data over here. In application overview, once again refreshes. It was 2:08 p.m., 2011 p.m., 2:11 p.m. It means it is updated. Let me export it once again, download to my local file system, and then we compare the output. Same 410. Yes. Now look at both output together, and there you can see a quick difference. You can figure out quick difference. Let me hide rest of the code line. So what difference you see? Let me copy and paste. The difference you can quickly see over here. Here you see data month over month, January, February, March, April. But in YTD, data is getting aggregated 245,000 plus 45,000 plus 62,000, something like that, isn't it? 255,700. So what you see in this actual output, I want to export data into YTD format, but data export action can only be run as a batch, not as interactive. So we got an error message. Now let's get deep into this and understand the code. How did we export data in YTD format? The bottom line of the code is you are already familiar with. We use it multiple times for data export. The only difference you see over here, first I create cube object of plan one, then I invoke create data export function, and then I filter this function output with the following option. I apply row filter, right? The filter on rows with the following intersection. And I use export the data into this file, YD data export. Plus here, this is a new piece of the code. I added YTD expression, okay? Code snaps. So how do you aggregate data YTD? I mean, it's quite simple, right? When you continue to apply some function, okay? That is what is happening in my code. This is what is happening in my code. Okay. So I apply YTD sum behind the screen. That's how it's going to work out. This, isn't it? So I'm going to continue aggregate number, January plus February, February plus March, and so on. It means I wanted to run a loop with a range from January to February to March, would apply loop. The same thing achieved over here through this code. Let's go through this code line by line. So first line, I create a object. This is a block of a code. Okay. So raw data is basically one method, and you can detail see over here the class raw data, sorry, the class raw data, and it represent, as this mentioned, this object represents a row of exported data for one or more intersection from a cube. So this is representing exported data. Okay, and you see this class has got different methods, a list of methods given over in the code. Okay, what did I use? I use this method and I iterate it through. Iterate through line by line and store the output in a map object. So it has two string object. One is data and corresponding column. And we use a delimiter for colon. Okay. Then I create a variable, temporary variable of double type. Okay. So as we aggregate number, I want it to run through these numbers. Like we apply in this Excel scenario, I use a function called sum. Ideally, this is what you're going to do it. Like in school days, we used to do it. Sum equals to this plus sum. Uh, That's what I'm trying to apply. This is I2 plus sum. And this will continue to happen. I2, I3, I4. So I2 is basically a variable, and the value of this variable will increase by one. I2, I3, I4, I5, like that. Okay. So it travels through line by line. That is what we're doing. And the output is being stored in YTD number. And then I am browsing row by row data dot value map at each. We are browsing row by row. And I want to apply filter only for those number which has a data. I don't want to consider the data does not exist. So I excluded hash missing, right? Process this code which has a data and not equals to hash missing. Then I keep on aggregating number, isn't it? And in order to store the data and display it finally, the number, because this is a string object, this class accept only string, isn't it? So once again, you look at the class, the return type is a string. Okay. The return type is string, isn't it? So we need to in turn convert this double number to a string. So we use a typecasting to a string function and store in our object. And then finally we create a create row data with row, column, and the value. As a result of this, what you see over here, an aggregated number or YTD number month over month. So this is periodic view. This is YTD view. Okay. So that's it for today. Should you have any question, please feel free to reach out to bspsolutions.com. Thank you.